Hello. Well, now everyone knows what I look like at, nearly 5 o'clock in the morning when I couldn't sleep because I'm thinking of Hurricane Irma. Before I get onto that, there are a couple of sort of interesting things to mention. The royal family announced that the Duchess of Cambridge is pregnant again and she has morning sickness, so she's not well now, but she will be. And she is the wife of the heir of the throne, and it's sort of like family news, really, for most people in the British Isles, although I'm sure there are some sour bastards who would make spiteful comments about it. Well, I don't. It's always nice when a family is doing well. And then there's those mad people in North Korea who exploded another hydrogen device. Apparently, it caused a huge earthquake. So that means that despite what North Korea says, it wasn't as controllable as they're trying to make out that it is. And then on the subject of bombs, and in a much happier way, although it caused a disruption, I think about 60,000 people had to move out of their homes in Frankfurt because somebody found a World War II bomb, which was designed to cause tremendous damage from a mile from where it explodes. So they had to be very careful about that. When it came out of the ground, it was, it resembled nothing so much as a sort of giant muddy bratwurst, but it was an English bomb, so more likely to resemble a banger. Okay, I couldn't resist that. But yeah, look, at this instant, Hurricane Irma is rampaging its way across the Caribbean. Puerto Rico is, as if it doesn't have enough troubles already, is taking a battering. It's just getting worse and worse, isn't it? 90% of the island of Barbuda has been just flattened. And people were killed in Anguilla, St. Martin. They've all been hideously hit by this terrible storm. The Daily Mail reports on all the stars who have pads in various Caribbean islands and says Richard Branson has spent some time hiding in his concrete wine cellar. Well, look, honestly and seriously, I am glad that Richard Branson has a concrete wine cellar. It's great. I just wish everybody had concrete wine cellars, especially as places to hide in when there are storms like this lashing about. Unfortunately, not many people in that area do. Most live in flimsy, often badly constructed homes, which in many cases amount to little more than just shelters. And they don't have the infrastructure to recover from such terrible devastation as well. And apparently, Tropical Storm Katia strengthened into a hurricane off the Mexican coast on Wednesday, and it's going to cause some more devastation. Meanwhile, Florida is waiting with bated breath, and the Carolinas and Georgia are all going to get hit by this storm, apparently. It's just terrible. And it's no time for people in the rest of the world to think, well, at least we're out of the way, so we're not involved in this, because we are involved. And what kept me awake, really, was actually some words that kept circling in my brain. They were from a sermon delivered by John Donne. And I'm going to repeat them to you because they're well worth bearing in mind. For those of you who don't know about John Donne, he was a poet in the 1600s, and he later he was rather a witty and rakish young man, but he became very serious indeed later on in life and was a Church of England priest. And he wrote this at a time when church bells basically were the internet of the time. That is, when you heard the bells ringing, if they rang in certain ways, you knew they meant certain things. Happy, pealing meant somebody was getting married, and the single, slow, low tone of a single bell meant somebody had died and was being buried. And people like me would have servants about or children and would send one of them to the church to find out who's died. And this is what he said. No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less, as well as if a promontory were, as well as any manner of thy friends or of thine own were. Any man's death diminishes me because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee.